We are here for a compliance hearing. And we are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming. And I am recording to the Zoom cloud today. I don't have a reporter. So if anybody needs a copy, let us know. All right, then we'll take announcements.
Morning, Your Honor. Counsel Gene Graff and Lois Ricks on behalf of the department present, ready to proceed.
Stacy Grant on behalf of the mother. I'm present. She's present. We're ready to proceed.
Vince Nowak on behalf of Brian Tonoli. We're both present and ready, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, Vince, you're hard to hear. But I know you know how to fix it.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Zane.
Okay.
Judge Jax is on vacation, but just to make sure, which I know. I should know.
It.
I should know this by now. Vince Nowak on behalf of Brian Tonoli. We're both ready, present. Thanks, Judge.
All right. It's just so good to see people advance in their skills. You know, it's always good to see old dogs learning new tricks. Okay. Let's see who is going to give us our update today. Ms. Ricks?
Yes, please, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Ricks, you can go right ahead.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay.
How's everything going?
It's going well. Prior to my being assigned, Ton and Zane had already engaged in counseling through the internship program at the Children's Advocacy Center. I went ahead since she expressed a desire to continue and referred her for psychosocial assessments and individual counseling through Jennings Counseling, as well as for Zane, and they have done their assessments, though I have not yet received their reports, and they have had at least one session with their new therapist. She has also engaged in the domestic violence support group. And then Brian he did submit for an OSAR assessment. I think there was some misunderstanding between he and the screener. She told me that she did not feel she got an adequate assessment, but did make a referral for AA, Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. I referred him to Daily Recovery Services. There was a misunderstanding on how appointments were being done over there by me, and he thought he had an appointment, and when he showed up, he was told he did not. He does plan to find a time to go over there according to their walk-in schedule based on his work. He also has completed his psychosocial assessment and is going to be calling to get on the schedule with recovery counseling. He did also submit for an alcohol test, which he was positive for. However, we had that conversation that, about how often does he drink, and he told me that he felt he would always test positive, and I told him the only way to deal with that would be to stop drinking. He recently told me that he has not been drinking alcohol since July 4th, in an effort to work toward testing negative for the test that we do here.
Okay. All right. And how's Zane doing?
He's doing really well. He's excited to be starting school. He talks about mostly getting to visit with his dad on like weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, going shopping or going to church. He has been to the water park with his mom and just a variety of things. So he's having a good summer. He went to a day camp and he learned how to sing the Star Spangled Banner. So he wanted to sing that for me. He was so sweet.
Well, that's a significant achievement.
Yes.
All right, great. Okay, Ms. Grant, anything today?
Your Honor, Ton has not expressed any issues with any services, but just wants to continue to engage and complete everything required of her. She is continuing in the counseling.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Nowak?
Thank you, Judge. Just briefly, Lois, it's always good to see you. Would you agree with me that Brian has been cooperative and that the misunderstanding was not his fault?
I would agree to that. Yes.
Okay. Is recovery, is that Pace Lawson?
Pace and Melissa, I don't
Pace and-
know. I don't know who he'll see, obviously, yet.
Gotcha. Anything negative to say about Brian?
Nothing that I can think of at this time.
Lois, thank you so much. Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Ms. Vaughn,
Your Honor, no questions, just a report, if you're ready for that now.
fire away.
All right. I got to visit with Zane at Mom's house. He is funny. He is smart. It was a really fun visit. I've got no concerns. It seems like both parents are cooperating at this time and things are moving the way it needs to be. And so I recommend that we just stay the course.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, anybody else have anything that you want me to know today or any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, well, Ms. Dong and Mr. Tonioli, we appreciate your cooperation and I'm glad things are going well. And I'm sorry about any misunderstandings that may have occurred, but we sometimes just, people get their signals crossed, but hopefully things will go a little more smoothly and y'all can just work your way through what we need to do. All right, then I will continue the participation order and expect parents to continue to work our services. And we will have our next compliance hearing on November 4th, 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. So I'll see y'all back then. Now, I will just tell you, it's entirely possible you all will have completed everything by then. Things may be rocking along great. They may dismiss the case before I ever see you again. Which is great. We're all good with that. But just if we still have some things out there, or we still have any concerns or new problems, then we do have that scheduled. So you might just mark that on your calendars and keep that time slot available in case we have to have a hearing. But my hope is that you guys may be through this process by that time. So I wish you continued success and I will see you back in November, or hopefully you may not have to see me again at all. And every one of these lawyers wish that that could come true for them too, but probably not.
No way.
All right. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. And you're free to go ahead and go on about your day.
Judge, thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day and a great week.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, we're here in each hearing, in each one of these cases for a review hearing. We are conducting these through Zoom. We are live streaming. And I'm recording to the Zoom cloud today. I don't have a reporter, so if you need a copy, let me know. All right, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the department. Tucker Ivy's my permanency specialist. We are present ready, Your Honor.
Savannah Kincaid, I represent Miss Johns. We're present and ready.
Jeff Hill on behalf of Christopher Frost. Judge, I haven't had any contact with him. He was incarcerated for a period of time. My understanding is he got out in April or so from TDCJ. I've never heard from him since then, so I'm here, but as ready as I can be.
General for the father, Javier Rivera. I've also had no contact with Mr. Rivera.
Jay Michelson on behalf of Mr. Forkpa. He was deported some time ago. I have not had any contact with him. I'm present and ready.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children.
Okay, thank y'all. So let's see, Mr. Ivy, you going to give us an update today?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
I also tried to reach out to the dads since mediation. I've got a pretty big update on the case for Christopher Sr. I haven't been able to get a hold of him either. His phone rings, but no one answers. David Forkpa, I messaged on social media and he never replied to me. Javier Rivera did answer my phone call and he said he would like to participate. He couldn't show up to court today because he couldn't get off work, but that he'll make sure to be at the next court hearing, which is the final. And I told him I would give him his lawyer's information. And he did say he wants to participate and do the services required to get Naraya.
Mr. Ivy, real quick, when was that you spoke to him?
I spoke to him once last week and then this morning.
Okay, all right. When did you give him Ms. Naranjo's information?
I texted him last week, but whenever I texted him, he said he didn't receive it. And so I told him to send me his email, and then he sent me his email. And so I'm going to email him after this court hearing her information.
Okay. Be sure to send Ms. Naranjo his email and his phone number that you were able to reach him at so that she can have that contact. Make sure she's got the right information.
Will do.
Thank you.
And then Kadisha, I did submit the certificates showing that she completed everything asked of her on the family plan. She's been testing clean since February. She's currently looking for housing. She's on the HUD wait list and she's been on it for 7 months. And she said on August 8th, she submitted the last thing that she needs to. And that after court today, she has a interview with McDonald's and that she's going to look at 1-bedroom apartments. She did send me pictures of her bank statements going back 4 or 5 months, and she does have stable income currently, but she's not able to get pay stubs. She had to screenshot her bank statements in order to send them to me. And she does have a car now that she can use to get her driver's license. So she said she's just got to figure that one out and she's going to get on top of it. Christopher's doing good in his placement. He still says he wants to come home. He's still biting kids, but placement tells me that they have a good time with him at Flyer and he's very loving towards all of them. Zion, I know last time we spoke, she had that stomach or mass in her stomach of condensed food or something, but they said that that's dissipated and that she's doing really good now. She no longer has to take that laxative, but she's still very hostile with staff. She'll cuss and attack them, and she does still have to wake up in the middle of the night, not as often, but she still has to wake up in order to go use the restroom in the middle of the night. Naraya's not getting along with her new house parents. She was doing good until last month whenever she got new house parents, and she hasn't been getting along with the house dad. she's been very depressed and angry since the switch, and just says that she wants to return home with her parents or with her mom. But overall, she's doing well since I think school will be a good distraction for her. She's also participating in soccer. And so she said that she's looking forward to being like really busy, but she's just struggling with her current living situation.
Mr. Ivy, I know you mentioned about mom's screenings and stuff. I noticed in the reports, I think the last ones I have, well, let me see. So she tested in March and then not again until June and July. Is that correct? Was there a
Yes.
gap? There was a gap in there?
There was a gap.
Okay, all right. When was her last hair follicle? Just is it March was her last hair?
Yes, I believe it was May.
Okay. I just don't see that one in the report. So May, I see in March she had one rejected due to insufficient sample. Do we need a hair follicle again, or are we good right now?
I mean, it's coming up. I was gonna send her for one this month.
Okay, all right. But you don't have any problem with her complying when you get ready?
No, she complies with everything I ask her to do.
Okay, all right. Anything else? I mean, we discussed the job, housing situation. We still have the criminal case that mom needs to take care of, or cases that mom needs to take care of. We're just waiting on date set for those pleas, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then once those things get done, mainly the criminal case, because we don't need trying to place children back if mom gets sent to jail for a little bit, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are we going to start moving ahead, looking at some sort of reunification or upping visits? What are we looking at going forward right now?
I did recently up visits. As of right now, the goals for this case are still kinship adopt, trying to find someone to be placement for these kids. But after this court hearing, I was going to talk with my supervisor about changing the plan or changing one of the goals to back to family reunification if Kadisha can get stable housing. I think that's the primary thing is we need a home to put these kids in.
Yeah.
And we need to make sure that she's not going to go back to jail.
Okay. And we don't have, with any of them right now, is there a permanent housing situation at this time for any of the children?
No, we have 2 home studies pending, one for Letitia and one for Marie Johnson,
Okay.
the great aunt, and then Kadisha's mother.
Okay. Where do we stand? You're saying they're pending. Where do we stand on those? How much longer are we expecting?
Well, Marie Johnson's got pushed back until I believe this Friday is when they're going to do the interview with her because she wasn't available and they had a hard time getting a hold of her. Because she gets a lot of spam calls, and so every time they would try and call, she would just hang up on them.
Okay.
Until so we were able to let her know what numbers were going to be calling her, and then she finally was able to answer and said she wouldn't be available till this Friday. So her home studies like still got a ways to go.
Okay.
Letitia's we're still waiting on the background check to be approved.
Okay.
And so
all right. But all of that stuff is in the works, and we still have a couple months to get through some of this stuff, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. But you stated you're going to be asking for our staffing to look at goals on these cases and where we're going to be headed in the near future.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But at this time, mom's doing well.
Yes, sir.
We still just have a few concerns as far as stability.
Yes, sir.
And the criminal. If you would just get that information to Ms. Naranjo for her client, and keep trying to reach out to the other 2 dads and see if we can get any contact with them.
Yes, sir.
I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kincaid, any questions or anything to add today?
I don't think I have any questions. Just to add, Kadisha stays in contact with me. She's doing a great job. I think the only reason we're held up on the criminal, she does keep dropping in and out. I'm not sure if she's got bad internet. But I'll call her after this hearing if she missed something.
Okay.
I think her criminal attorney has had some health issues, so it's not for a lack of, her wanting to get it resolved. It's just actually being able to get that stuff scheduled. I did want to ask Mr. Ivy, just to make sure I understand, have you gotten all the certificates of completion that you need? I know we have discussed that in the past.
Yes, ma'am. I e-filed them with the court.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have today, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Kincaid.
And Savannah, I just to let you know, I saw a lot of those certificates coming through this morning. So they're in the process of getting filed or getting worked with the clerk. So they should be in there now.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Ms. Naranjo?
No questions, Judge. Mr. Trout covered everything I was going to ask.
Okay. Hopefully we can get you in touch with your guy here pretty quick. All right. Mr. Hill,
No questions, ma'am.
anything to add today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Michelson. And you're muted.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything to add today?
Nothing to add.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Zavala.
Mr. Ivy, you had mentioned that mom is on the wait list for HUD, which is wonderful, but you also mentioned a 1-bedroom. I know it becomes very difficult because the kids aren't with her right now, but if she gets approved for a 1-bedroom, that really doesn't help us for placing 3 kids in there. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm
Excuse
sorry, go ahead.
And I've asked her, talked to her about it too, which I know she's going in and out right now, but with Naraya being placed with the great aunt that we currently have a home study pending for, and then her taking the 2 younger ones. And so we were hoping for the 1-bedroom. She could sleep in the living room, and the 2 younger ones could have the bedroom. But I think that's all she can get through HUD housing, because we can't legally say that the kids are in her care, and so she can't get approved for more housing through HUD.
Okay. That was the only question I had, Your Honor. I don't know if you're ready for my report.
Absolutely.
Okay. The kids are generally doing well. They do very much want to come home. I do agree that Noraya is kind of butting heads with her house parents right now. They moved from being the house parents for small boys to teenage girls. And sometimes the approach is very different. But she in general is doing very well. She's looking forward to school. She's a good student. I'm excited about her starting school. I do think that she's likely the first one that could either be placed with a relative or home with mom because of behavior issues. The other 2 do have ongoing behavior issues, but they're working on it. And truth be told, if they could come back here with family and around everybody, those behavior issues might get a little better. But she's going to need kind of all hands on deck when and if they do come home. But that's absolutely what the children want. It's what I would love to see for the kids, to either be back with mom or with some family. However, everybody can come together and support these kids. I'd love to see that reunification. It does seem like there are still some things that need to be addressed, but it does look like mom's working really hard on those. So I'm hopeful, and I've got my fingers crossed on that.
Okay. Excuse me. All right. Well, we're at least headed in the right direction, I think. Obviously, we've got some hurdles here to deal with.
Judge, as far as the criminal issue, I do stay in touch with the prosecutor on that to see if we can try to get that all taken care of. I know mom's been working on it, and as Ms. Kincaid said, our attorneys had some health issues, and so that they've had some trouble getting in and out of court and getting this done. I did email the prosecutor yesterday. They're going to reach out to her criminal attorney and see if they can get this set. There's been a plea offer out there. My understanding it's about, she would have about a week or 7 days of jail time to do, and then be done with all the criminal stuff. They just got to get in and get those things done.
Okay. All right, well, hopefully that'll all resolve here pretty quickly.
Yes.
And then, it seems, I agree. I mean, the housing issue seems like we gotta, this may be a couple of different steps, but, we can, even get one of the kids home first and then maybe the other one and then at least, like I said, Narai's kind of, she's at least close and kind of situated right now. So, okay, then I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the children's placements. I would find there'd be a continuing danger to return the children home today, but that we are obviously working in the right direction. Mom is in compliance with her services and with what we're expecting of her. Fathers, obviously at this point in time, are not. And we are scheduled for our final on October 14th of 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. Obviously, that is our drop dead dismissal date. Let's see, drop dead dismissal date is October 17th. And so, we've extended. There's only kind of one other thing to, we only have one other trick up our sleeve, so to speak, at that point, but it sounding like it might be appropriate.
Yes, ma'am.
At that point in time. So, at least we do have the possibility of a monitored return available. Okay, I'll see everybody back October. If y'all have any consensus about any of that prior to the hearing, we can certainly have some discussion about that by email in the event that everybody's got an agreement about things. And, I don't want everybody spending a bunch of time getting ready for a final that's not going to happen. So.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, everybody have a good day.
Thank you.
I have something to say before everybody leaves.
Yes, ma'am.
I did go get a hair follicle done Thursday.
Okay.
So I did get a hair follicle, and then I am doing my best. I just got an interview today. I'm going to go look at apartments that's in my price range. I did fill out the paperwork that Panhandle Community Service HUD needed. So it's got all 5 of us on there. So everything is good.
Okay.
I just wanted to let y'all know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. My phone keep kicking me out of the hearing. I was getting frustrated.
No problem. Listen, everybody's reporting. I mean, you're doing well. And we've just got some hurdles
Thank
to get over with the criminal stuff and the housing stuff. And we're still working with kiddos on some behaviors, but I think your attorney plans to give you a call just to make sure you didn't miss. Well, and we've lost her again. Oh, there she is. So I think Ms. Kincaid's going to give you a call, Ms. Johns, just to make sure you didn't miss anything, but everything's okay. All right, Ms. Kincaid, I'll let you try to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I'll give her a call. She stays in really good contact, so I'll
Okay.
get with her.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Thanks.
Thank you,
All right.
Judge.
Appreciate you. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
All right. Since we got so many people, I think I'll just make the announcements who's present. All right. Mr. Trout is present in all cases on behalf of the Department of Family and Protective Services. And the mother, Kadisha Johns, is present along with her attorney, Savannah Kincaid, in all 3 cases. Mr. Hill is present in the Christopher Frost case on behalf of the father, Christopher Frost Sr. Mr. Frost Sr. is not present with us today. Mr. Hill, are you anticipating that he would be coming in or?
No, no, Judge, I'm not. I haven't had any contact with him since he got out of jail.
All right. Okay, Jay Michelson is present on behalf of his client, David Forkpa, who I do not have in the waiting room or logged in. Mr. Michelson, are you expecting your client?
No, Your Honor, he's been deported and I've not had contact since his departure.
All right. Ms. Naranjo is present in the Rivera case on behalf of the father, Javier Rivera. He is not logged in my waiting room. Ms. Naranjo, same thing. Are you anticipating your client's attendance?
No, Your Honor, I've had no contact with Mr. Rivera.
All right. And Ms. Zavala is present on behalf of the children in all three cases. And none of the children are present with us today. All right, then. Mr. Trout, any announcements to make, or are we calling our first witness?
We're calling first witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then. Who we have up first?
Call Ms. Reynolds, Your Honor.
All right.
And how are you familiar with those cases?
I was the investigator that initiated the case, and I was also the removal investigator.
Okay. And how did the department become involved in the case involving these three children?
So I received a immediate call out by local law enforcement on April 15th. Miss Kadesha Johns appeared to be under the influence and was combative with officers. She was trying to jump into other people's vehicles and attempted to flee the scene. And she had her children with her. So I was requested to respond immediately to the hospital to meet with Miss Johns.
Okay. And you stated with local law enforcement, where did this take place?
So initially they were kind of on the side of the road and then transported her to the hospital for medical attention. And that's where I met them at, was our local hospital.
Okay. And what city was this?
It was in Beaumont, Texas, in Jefferson County.
Okay. Were you able to meet with Ms. Johns at the hospital?
Yes, I was able to meet with her.
Okay. And how did your conversation go? What did you talk about when you met with her?
So I introduced myself to Ms. Johns. I explained the reason for the department's involvement. And then I just gathered some background information from her. She shared with me that she had recently came to the Jefferson County area from the Harris County area about 2 weeks prior to that date due to domestic violence with her boyfriend. She shared that she is not from this area. She was actually from the Amarillo, Texas area. And so she didn't have really any local support here for her and the children.
Okay. Did Ms. Johns tell you what had happened that day that led up to you being called?
So when I asked her about the incident, she stated that she recalls she was walking with another resident from the women's shelter with their children or her children, and then also Ms. John's children, that she had smoked a cigarette and started to feel funny afterwards, and then did not really remember anything that happened after she started feeling funny.
Okay. Did Ms. Johns discuss any run-ins with law enforcement outside of this?
So I had learned from law enforcement that there were 3 active warrants for her arrest. And so whenever I asked her about those warrants, she said that she really just kind of denied any kind of criminal involvement.
Okay. When you finished your conversation with Ms. Johns, what happened then?
So I discussed with her, what could safety look like should she have a positive drug test. It was believed by law enforcement that she was under the influence of an unknown substance. Once I spoke with medical staff, she actually did test positive for marijuana. So once I addressed that with her, she stated that she didn't have anyone in the area that could come and care for the children. And law enforcement confirmed that they were going to arrest her for the 3 warrants. And so we ended up having to conduct an exigent removal.
Okay. And at that time, you believe the exigent was in the best interest of the children based upon mom going to jail and nobody to be able to care for the children at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was what was approved?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the children were taken into care at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did y'all have an adversary hearing in your area?
Yes, we did have an adversary hearing at the 14-day mark or a little bit before.
Okay. And the court at that time, was Miss Johns still in jail at that time, or was she out?
I believe Miss Johns had actually released from jail at that time. but we still conducted the hearing, and the children still remained in care because we were transferring to actually her primary county.
Okay. And so y'all were transferring the case to Potter County at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So your court at the adversary granted the department's wish for temporary managing conservatorship?
Yes, sir. They continued.
Okay. And then the case was transferred to Potter County?
Yes.
Okay. And you believe all of that based upon the circumstances that that was all in the best interest of the three children?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kincaid.
No questions.
All right. Ms. Naranjo.
Ms. Reynolds, did you have any contact with Mr. Rivera?
No, ma'am. Whenever I asked Miss Johns about the father for Mr. Rivera, she stated that she believed he was in Amarillo, Texas, but had no contact information for him. And when I asked the child, she also did not have any contact information for him.
What efforts did you make to locate any contact information for Mr. Rivera?
We did diligent searches, or we requested diligent searches for his contact information, and I believe they were returned and they were unsuccessful.
I'll pass witness.
Mr. Michelson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Similar questions, Ms. Reynolds. Did you have any contact with David Forkpaw?
No, sir. Same thing. I asked Miss Johns about his information. She stated that she believed he was actually deported, and she had no contact information for him. We also conducted diligent searches for him, and they were unsuccessful.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Hill.
No questions, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ball.
No questions.
Okay. Mr. Trout?
I have a couple of follow-up questions, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. Reynolds, as parents' attorneys asked about their clients, you had found out that the named father for Naraya was Javier Rivera.
Yes, she identified Javier Rivera for her father. Yes.
Okay. And for Zion, David Forkpaw was identified as the father?
Yes, David.
And then for Christopher Foss Sr. was identified as the father, is that correct?
Yes, and it was learned that he was incarcerated in TDCJ at the time of our removal.
Okay. Were you ever able to get in touch with him before?
No, sir, we weren't.
Okay. All right. But your understanding he was in TDCJ?
Yes, and we did a diligent search as well on him, and it came back as it confirmed he was in TDCJ.
Okay. So he was the only father you were able to locate where his actual whereabouts were?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with the knowledge of what went on with mother, not knowing where two of the fathers were and one being incarcerated, you believe it was best interest of the child to move forward with the removal? And
yes, it was in the best interest of the children.
okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Anybody have any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, then. You can call your next witness. And is Ms. Reynolds free to go at this time?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No
No,
objection.
no objection.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. We appreciate your time today. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good one as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. And Ms. Collins.
All right. Who's next?
You call Kadisha Johns, Your Honor.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, would you state your name for the record, please?
Kadisha John.
And Ms. Johns, are you the mother to the three children we're here on today?
Yes, sir.
Naraya, Christopher, and Zion?
Yes, sir.
You heard the testimony from the investigator just then, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have some warrants for your arrest when the removal happened?
No, I didn't. I formally didn't know that they were warrants.
Okay.
I looked on the Potter County Register and my name was not on there when I left.
Okay.
So I didn't know.
Were you arrested for warrants?
In Beaumont, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Were those warrants out of Potter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was one of those warrants for a falsification of drug test results?
Yes.
And was one of them for accident involving damage to vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibits number 1 and number 2. They're certified copies of 2 of the cases that we just discussed, the falsification of drug test results and the accident involving out of Potter County. They are the complaint, information, judgment, and the warrant for her, Miss John's arrest.
Okay, and you said 1 and 2? Okay, here's 1.
Yes, and I'll clarify on that, Your Honor. Exhibit number 1 is the complaint information for the falsification of drug test, the judgment of conviction, the warrant for her arrest that was issued in March of last year of 2024, and then a motion to dismiss, that motion to revoke that was recently filed.
Okay, I'm just looking through it real quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, any objection to 1?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, then petitioner's exhibit 1 will be admitted. Okay, 2.
And yes, ma'am. Exhibit number 2 is the complaint information, the order deferring adjudication, the state's motion to revoke, or an order on state's motion to revoke the probation, the warrant from March of 2024, and the judgment adjudicating guilt that was recently done.
All right, any objection to 2?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 2 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, you recently took care of your criminal cases, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They dismissed the falsification of drugs test revocation. Are you still on probation for that charge?
No, I'm not on probation at all. They gave me time served on all my charges.
Okay, all right. So you have a guilty or a conviction for the falsification of the drug test.
No, they told me that they had dropped that charge before I even went to court. So I only pled guilty to the hit and runs. That's the only thing I pled guilty to.
Yes, ma'am. But they dismissed the motion to revoke. You still had already pled guilty to the accident or to the falsification, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then you did time served on the other 3 charges.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you know where Javier Rivera is?
I don't.
When was your last contact with him?
My last contact with him was at the beginning of this year. I have not heard from him now. I have not seen him. And when I have seen him, I was walking to my oldest daughter's house to give her something. That's when I seen him riding by and he stopped me. But other than that, I have not had no conversation.
Okay. When you saw him at the first year, did y'all discuss any of this case?
We did, but in his mind, it went from we're talking about Naraya. It went from talking to Naraya with us being in a relationship, and I just don't want to deal with that. It's all about my child right now. So it's always like that with him. It's always us getting back together, and that's not the case.
Okay. But he was aware that there was from your conversation, your understanding that he was aware of a CPS case?
Yes.
Okay. What about Mr. Forkbutt? When was your last contact with him?
Couple years. I haven't really thought, like the beginning of this case. That's the last time I talked to him, but he is aware of the case also. Okay.
And is it your understanding he is no longer in the United States?
Yes, he told me he's been deported back to Liberia, Africa, where he's from.
Okay. What about Christopher Frost. When was your last contact with him?
June on our June 4th on our son's birthday.
Okay. And how did you make that contact?
My son last week before his birthday, he asked me to ask his dad what was he going to get him for his birthday so I can get it to bring to him to the visit. He started talking about he wasn't going to do nothing, and that was the last conversation with him.
Okay. And when you say wasn't going to do nothing, you mean in the CPS case?
With the birthday thing, with our son's birthday gift, but he knows about the situation, and I told him, I even brought that up too, with him on our son's birthday. It's like he didn't care. It wasn't it wasn't his problem. He didn't care.
Okay. Your Honor, I would ask that the court take judicial notice of the record. Mr. Rivera was published on for this case in March 21st of 2025 for service. David Forkpa was posted and published on social media, through social media on September 9th of 2024. And Christopher Frost was personally served on May 8th of 2024 for these cases.
All right, I'll take judicial notice of those service methods on each respective father.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Jones, when was the last time you used any type of narcotics?
Last year when Christina was my caseworker, and that was when I had twisted my ankle and went to the hospital, and I smoked marijuana like I told her I smoked marijuana that day, and that was it. I have never used no other drug but marijuana. And that's my honest to God truth.
And is that in your whole life you're talking about?
Yes, that's my whole, since I was 16, that's all I did was smoke marijuana. I never did any other drug, don't know how any other drug affects my body, never tried it, never been around it, nothing. Don't know what it looked like, don't know where to get it from, so no. And
have you had drug screens in this case?
Yes, I've go every time they tell me to go take a drug test, I'm there. I don't have no problem because I know I've been clean. I don't have no excuse to go or try to pretend. Like if I knew I was doing drugs, why would I go and do a drug screen knowing that I'm doing drugs? Like it doesn't make sense.
Ms. Jones, have you had a conversation with Mr. Ivy about your drug screens?
Yes, I have.
Did he tell you any concerns of your drug screens?
When I first did a drug screen for him, that was at the beginning of August before our court date in August. And I've been taking my medication since the middle of May is when I started getting my medications. And I just recently upped my dosage in July. So, and that's the only thing that I've been taking. I showed him the prescriptions that I take. He knew that I took medications because of the last court hearing.
Okay. Did Mr. Ivy discuss concerns with your drug screens?
Yes.
Okay. And did those concerns show your prescribed medications?
From what was told to me, when the place that I go to get my drug screens, I asked the lady that she's always did my drug screens. I asked her, I said, I'm on these medications. Do they not test for these medications when they go? She's like, no, they do not test for those medications.
Yes. So did your medications, was that part of your conversation with Mr. Ivy?
Yes.
Okay. And your concerns were you were taking those medications?
I take them every day.
Okay. But those were not the concerns you and Mr. Ivy were talking about. Is that correct?
No, he's basically talking about methamphetamines and cocaine, and I never did neither one.
Okay. But those were concerns that Mr. Ivy had?
Yes.
And that came from your last drug screens?
My last 2 drug screens, yes.
Okay. What did you state to Mr. Ivy about those concerns?
I told him I have never did methamphetamine or cocaine. Never tried it, never don't know where to get it. I told him the only thing I've been doing is taking my medicine regularly. I take it every night before I go to bed. I go when I leave, I'm always here at the house. If I'm not doing nothing that has to do with my kids or going to interviews or doctor's appointments or visitation or looking for houses, that's all I do. And at 5 o'clock every day, I'm back at home. My mom she's here to vouch for me, but I don't do drugs. I never did no drug before but marijuana.
Ms. Johns, are you currently working?
No, I got an interview tomorrow. I've
Okay.
been putting an application. Every time I put an application, they don't hire me. They go with somebody else. So I've been putting in applications. I just put in 2 applications last week and I got interviews tomorrow.
Okay. When was the last time you worked?
May.
May?
Yes. Well, at a real job, which was Amazon, but I was working from home and I quit that job just recently.
Why did you quit that job?
Because they wasn't paying me, so I quit it, and they wasn't sending me my check stubs or anything. So I quit that job because I wasn't getting nowhere.
When you say they weren't paying you, do you mean you weren't making enough money or you were not getting paychecks?
I wasn't getting no type of payment, no paychecks, no nothing.
What type of job were you doing for them?
My uncle's wife had put me on a job helping people with insurance, Medicaid, and if single parents needed some type of bill to be paid, we was able to help them with that. So I got the information.
Okay, I'm sorry. You said you were working for Amazon.
Yes, that was at the beginning. I was working for both places, but I was working at Amazon, going back and forth in the outside world.
Okay. So my question is, what were you doing for Amazon?
I was packaging the stuff that people was getting and putting them inside the bags to get delivered the same day.
Okay. And were you having to clock in?
Yes.
Okay. So they had you on a payroll if you were having to clock in, correct?
Yeah, yes, but it was a thing to where you had to get a schedule. You have to go online, pick a schedule. If you don't get to that schedule first, it's like first come, first serve. So if you don't hit it first, then you have to wait until they have another shift available.
Okay. But my question is, if you were on the schedule and you were on the payroll and clocking in, you are saying you never received a paycheck from them?
Oh no, I got paid for that. They owe me one paycheck I haven't still received because something messed up with on my end, but we had got it figured out.
Okay. So just to be clear, you quit the Amazon job because and you stated because you weren't getting paid.
No, I was talking about the working from home job. When I was working at Amazon, we wasn't able to get a shift, and it was hard to get a shift. So what's the point of working somewhere where it's hard to get a shift and you got to fight with other people to get a shift? And it was hard for me to get back and forth to work when there's no bus, no transportation goes out there. So yes, I quit that job because I wasn't getting nowhere with that job.
Was the little bit of work and pay you were getting there better than not having any job at all?
No, because I do hair on the side and I get paid more doing hair than was working at Amazon.
Okay. Were you aware of family plans of service?
Yes.
Okay. And you're aware of what the department was asking you to do, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware those were made in order of the court?
Yes.
Okay. And you were giving copies of those family plans of service. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. With your services, is part of it financial stability?
Yes.
Okay. So at this time, would having the job with Amazon be better than not having a job right now?
At a point, if I had a better job other than Amazon, yes.
Okay. Where do you live right now, Ms. Jones?
I stay with my mom.
Okay. Or do you live there to help your mom out, or do you live there because you can't afford to have another place right now?
I help my mom out.
Okay. If you needed to move out, could you stand on your own 2 feet? Could you have your own place and afford it?
Yes.
Okay. How do you do that without having a job?
Because like I said, I do hair.
Okay.
And everybody comes to me to get their hair done because it's a certain hairstyle that everybody wants me to do on them, and I get paid. I do hair real good, so I do get paid, and I do get paid a lot of money.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll pass the witness at this time.
All right, Ms. Kincaid.
Thank you, Your Honor. Regarding your employment, approximately how many places do you think that you've applied?
I say about 50 or more.
Okay, have you gotten any follow-ups or interviews over the course of those applications?
Yes, I've got plenty of interviews, and then I do have emails stating that they discard my application.
Okay, but do you have any applications out now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what applications do you have out now?
I have Denny's on I-40. I have Wingstop on 24th. I have UniFirst over there by off of I-40. I didn't put in restaurant jobs, McDonald's, Burger King, Sonic, all of those. I've been on Indeed putting in applications. I even put in home health care applications, and that's all on Indeed. I got proof of that on my Indeed.
Okay, and you said you have interviews tomorrow, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And where are those at?
Wingstop and UniFirst and
Okay.
Denny.
And if you were to be hired at one of those jobs, how would you get to and from work?
They're not a far distance. They're basically walking distance, so I can walk to and from.
Okay, is public transportation an option because it wasn't one out of Amazon?
Yes, public transportation is an option for these 3 jobs. Yes.
Okay, and regarding the housing, are you looking at other avenues for housing right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what are those options that you're looking at?
I done went to churches to see. There's a place right here on Spring that helps with single parent, they got their own apartments. I done went to them. Didn't get nowhere with them. I went to, Buccaneer's place. They told me that I have to have my kids and I'm supposed to be in school. I didn't went to the workforce, tried to get help from them. I'm on Panhandle Hood right now. I didn't call Martha's Home. I didn't call Bay City Mission. I didn't call Downtown Women's Center. I didn't call all these places, and they're all have waiting lists and they all full.
Okay, have you pursued anything with the HUD housing?
Yes, I'm on Panhandle, and I'm number 600 and something.
Okay.
And I've been on that waiting list since March of this year.
Okay. And regarding your mom's house, what kind of is it, house, apartment? What is it?
It's an apartment.
Okay, and how many rooms is it?
It's a 1 bedroom.
Okay, and does it seem like a safe place for you to live?
Yes.
If there were to be, if the department or anyone else asked you to move out for any reason, would you be willing and able to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Naranjo?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Michelson.
Just briefly, could you tell me the last time you had contact with David Forkpa?
I'd say about 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Hill?
No questions, Your Honor.
Great, Ms. Zavala?
Miss Johns, are you visiting regularly with the kids?
Yes.
Okay. How do those visits go?
They start off okay, but then Naraya will pull me aside and tell me she's been cutting on herself and she's ready to come home and she just don't feel safe where she's at. And I have letters that she has wrote me saying.
Okay, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm going to object as hearsay on those statements from Naraya.
Okay, sustained. Ms. Zavala, is there something further?
Let me change the follow-up question. Do you believe that your communication with Naraya is helpful to her?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that your visits with the other children are helpful to them?
Leon, yes, because she gets to call me every Tuesday and Thursday also. But Christopher, it's like he doesn't do so well through the Zoom. It's like he wants to be in person, and that's the only time I can, talk to him, because other than that on Zoom, he's like distance.
Christopher's pretty active, right? So it's hard to keep him contained just on a computer screen for a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Trout?
A couple of follow-up, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, during your discussions with Mr. Ivy about the concerning drug screens, did you ever state that you would go to rehab?
Yes, I did, just to prove a point. Like, I even told him.
Objection, non-responsive, Your Honor. She answered it off the front.
Okay, yeah, you answered the question, so, all right.
So why would you say you would go to rehab if you say you've never used any drug?
Because when he asked me to take a drug test and I did that, and it came back methamphetamines, I told him I would do another drug test. If I'm so adamant of doing something, the only reason why I told him yes is because I'm not getting nowhere here in Amarillo. I'm not getting the help that I need. Housing is doing it. He told me that if I go, they would get me on housing like between 1 and 3 months. That's the only reason why I agreed to it. Because I'm not getting nowhere here in Amarillo. I've been here all my life. So of course I'm gonna agree to something better for my life and my kids' life.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions?
Just a brief follow-up, Your Honor.
Okay.
What are the two prescriptions that you're currently on?
Seroquel and Lexapro.
Okay. What is your understanding, if you have one, as to whether those will show up on a drug screen or not?
That's the only drug I've been taking is my medication, so that's the only thing it could be. I don't do drugs.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Okay, anybody else have any follow-up questions?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and I want to just be clear. So, Ms. Johns, you gave or showed Mr. Ivy your prescriptions, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And at all times, you've had a valid prescription for those two
Yes,
medications?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, Mr. Trout?
I'd call Mr. Ivy, Your Honor.
All right, Mr.
I'm
Ivy.
familiar with Mom, Kadisha Johns.
Yes.
Okay. Start out, dads. Have you been able to get in touch with Javier Rivera?
I have. He'll answer my phone calls every now and then, but every time I get to the point where I'm saying, send me your location, I'll text him. He refuses to give me an address and he just says he's going to send it to me and then never does.
Okay.
And so,
when was your last conversation or contact with him?
3 weeks ago.
Okay. And what was said during that conversation?
I talked about how late in the case it was. I talked about this court hearing and I said I need to see him in person so we can go over the family plan and like how the case is going to look. And he said, okay, I'll send you my address. And he said, I'm at work right now. I'll text you. And then he hung up and he never texted me. And he wouldn't answer my phone calls again.
Did he ever tell you where he worked?
No, he just said he worked construction and that he goes from site to site.
Okay. Total, how many conversations would you say you've had with him?
3.
Okay. And that's over, when did you first get on this case?
On June 30th.
Okay. So from June till now, you've had 3 conversations total, and he's never given you a location or address.
Yes, and one of those conversations was him literally answering the phone saying, I'm at work, I'm too busy, and then hanging up.
Okay. But he's aware of who you are.
Yes.
And what you're calling about.
Yes.
Okay. What about David Forkpa? Have you ever had any contact with him?
No, there was 3 Facebook pages that go by David Forkpa, and I've messaged all of those pages, and I heard back on one of them just saying that I had the wrong guy.
Okay.
But they were located in Libya, Africa.
All 3 of them were?
Yeah, those 3 David Forkpas in Libya, or somewhere in Africa, the area that he's in. But yeah, I messaged all 3 of them and I hadn't got a response. And then we had one number on file and I called it, but no response there.
Okay. Have you had a chance to run accurate search or anything on him?
Yes.
And has anything come back?
No, nothing worthwhile.
Okay. What about Christopher Frost? Have you had any contact with him?
I have not.
What efforts have you gone through to try to contact him?
The diligent search and accurate search came up with some addresses, which the people there said they didn't know who he was, or there was no one there. And the phone numbers we had on file, no one answered.
Okay. Have any of the 3 fathers reached out to you asking about the case or about their child?
No.
And we've been in this case for how long?
18 months.
Okay. And there were service plans ordered in this court?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know whether any of the fathers, Mr. Forkpa, Mr. Rivera, or Mr. Frost, are able to provide the necessary shelter and care for any of the children?
No.
Is that due, and that's due to you being unable to contact or to work with them?
Yes.
Okay. Today, are you asking to terminate the parental rights of David Forkpa as to Zion and Christopher Frost as to Christopher Jr. and Javier Rivera as to Naraya based upon constructive abandonment?
Yes.
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the children?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you receive the exhibits I sent out?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me what exhibit number 3 is?
Is that the family plan?
You tell me. You look at it and tell me. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that family plan of service?
Yes, sir.
Was it filed with this court in June of 2024?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this a family plan that is generated by St. Francis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what are family plans of service?
There are a list of services required by the parent in order to make progress towards becoming an effective parent that's capable of taking care of their child or children.
And are do these services help you gauge as a caseworker whether a parent has made certain changes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that the goal of these?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And to provide the parent support and services to reach those goals?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 3 is the original family plan of service that Mr. Ivy testified to that was filed with this court in June of 2024.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibit 3 will be admitted.
Thank you. And Mr. Ivy, that's also the family plan of service for Ms. Johns, correct?
Yes.
During a course of a case, when the case first started, family plans of service are they made orders of the court during the status hearings?
Excuse me?
Are the family plans of service made in order of the court during the status hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was that done in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 4. It's the status hearing order that was filed in this court on June 18th of 2024.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Petitioner's exhibit 4 will be admitted.
Thank you. Mr. Ivy, can you look on exhibit number 4 on page 5 for me, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you see under the it is ordered, there's some handwritten notes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Under that portion, this court ordered St. Francis to do amended service plans, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that those would be made in order at future hearing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Did St. Francis do amended service plans?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Your Honor, just for the sake of time, I would ask to admit exhibits 5, 6, and 7. They are the amended additional service plans for mom that were filed into this case in January 28th of 2025.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner's exhibits 5, 6, and 7 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Ivy, what services has mom done for the department?
She completed her parenting classes.
Okay.
She did the OSAR. She completed her psychological evaluation. She continued to do counseling and did well past the minimum 6. She did her domestic violence class and anger management class, and she completed her RBT.
Okay. Was mom asked to stay clean during this case and to present to drug screens?
Yes.
Okay. And has mom presented to drug screens?
Yes, she has.
Okay. Mom had some clean drug screens, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And recently, as discussed with Ms. Johns, we've had some concerning drug screens. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You heard Ms. Johns state a while ago about methamphetamine and cocaine. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have conversations with Ms. Johns about those?
Yes, sir.
Did she tell you why she may have shown up for those? Or
Why
shown-
she may have shown.
Why she may have shown positive for those drugs.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was that?
She stated for the methamphetamine, she believed it was because of her prescription drug. I think Seroquel was the one
Okay.
she stated would make her test positive, but when she told me, she said it would make her test positive for methadone, which I believe is an opioid. And then I showed her that she had tested positive for methamphetamine, and she said it was because of the vapor rub that she's been using.
Okay.
And she did show me a Google search that showed if you use vapor rub, it can make a positive test, but her levels were at 3580 for methamphetamine.
Okay.
And that was for her first test on August 7th, whereas on September 30th.
Question non-responsive. He's answered the question.
Sustained. You can ask another question.
Thank you, Your Honor. The most recent drug screens that mom did were at the end of September. You took her on September 30th, is that correct? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And is that screen the one that showed the cocaine that mom mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk to her about those screens?
Yes, sir.
What did mom say about those?
She believes it's because of the over-the-counter medication that she's taking and possibly her prescriptions.
Okay.
She screenshot me some of the over-counter medications that she uses. And
Okay,
she
that
said,
was going to be my next question. Did mom give you the her prescriptions, a list of her prescriptions?
she did.
Okay. Along with that, though, did Miss Johns give you any doctor's note or any authoritative measure as to these drugs will make you show this screen? Okay.
No, sir.
What the reasons Miss Johns has given you is something she's looked up on her own, from your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. And I say that because you mentioned a Google search.
Mhm.
Okay. Did she ever give you a doctor's note stating these could possibly make my patient show positives?
No, sir.
Okay. This case, you heard the testimony earlier from the investigator, correct?
Yes.
And you've seen the removals for the affidavit of removal, correct?
Yes, sir.
You heard the testimony that mom stated she had smoked a cigarette and then got dizzy, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we had a concern at the original removal for possible drug use.
Yes, sir.
We're now 18 months later, and we still have an issue of drug screens coming back positive.
Yes, sir.
Does that give you a concern as a caseworker?
Yes, sir.
Looking at the family plans of service, do you have concerns that mom's behaviors have not changed?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe, as the caseworker, that these things coming up at the end of the case are a dangerous situation to put children back into?
Yes, sir.
And that, as a caseworker, is that part of your job to look at these situations?
Yes, sir.
And to make decisions based upon your experience on the changes that parents have made?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where are the children placed right now?
One is in the Amarillo Children's Home here in Amarillo. Another one is placed in Houston, and another one's placed in Levelland at a facility called Flyer.
Okay. How are the children doing?
Naraya, since she's gotten new house parents, is not doing well. She doesn't get along with the house dad and has told me that she believes that she's starting to see symptoms that she thinks she's bipolar. She saw a psychiatrist on the 5th, and I haven't heard from the case manager what results came from that. Sorry.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I'm a little late with this, but if we're going to go into specific needs of the children, I would ask that we go off of YouTube just for a few moments while we do that.
Okay, do we have more ground to cover on that?
I believe so, in terms of the other children at least.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we're gonna go off for this limited line of questioning. I'll close the courtroom, but when we're done with that, everybody remind me, we need to start up again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. we are live streaming again. So, Mr. Trout?
Thank you, Your Honor. Pick up where we left off a while ago. Mr. Ivey, I'll ask again, do you believe termination of mother's parental rights to all three children is in the best interest of the children?
Yes, sir.
And is that due to our issues of the substance abuse at the beginning and still having concerns with it at this time?
Yes, sir.
And with mother having works services, we still have what appears to be no change in her behaviors.
Yes, sir.
And are you asking, I believe I asked this earlier, but are you asking based upon the D&E grounds at this time?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I think we're missing Savannah and Miss Johns.
Oh,
I think
you know
they're
what? We
still-
are. They went into the breakout room. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. We've got her back. Okay. My apologies, Ms. Kincaid, Ms. Johns. We started. I forgot you were still in the breakout room. I'm going to have the court reporter read back. It's very little, but I'll have her read back the questions and answers.
Okay, question is, pick up where we left off a while ago. Mr. Ivey, I'll ask again. Do you believe termination of mother's parental rights to all three children is in the best interest of the children? Answer, yes, sir. Question, and is that due to our issues of the substance abuse at the beginning and still having concerns with it at this time? Answer, yes, sir. Question, and with mother having worked services, we still have what appears to be no change in her behaviors? Answer, yes, sir. Question, are you asking, I believe I asked this earlier, but are you asking based upon the D&E grounds at this time? Answer, yes, sir. And then Ms. Zabala reminded us that we're missing people. Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Trout. You're muted.
Just so I make sure I've asked this. Mr. Ivey, you are recommending also and requesting the court to terminate the parental rights of the three fathers to their respective children based upon constructive abandonment at this time?
Yes, sir.
And you believe that's also in the best interest of the children?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, so you got the case, was it in June or was it when did you take over the case for Ms. Johns?
I was assigned on June 30th, but I didn't start working the case until July.
Okay, and since the time that you've had the case, has Ms. Johns stayed in contact with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Has she been cooperative with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel like that she's been candid with you?
She's been honest with me for the most part, except for the drug screens.
She's gone to the drug screens you've asked her to go to?
Yes, ma'am.
And she provided you a copy of her prescription medications?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so far as the services that have been worked, there's no remaining services for her to complete?
No, ma'am. Just the providing clean drug screens and having stable housing and income.
Okay. Do you know how long she's lived with her mother?
I believe it's been about, no, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. And has she provided you any copies of, attempts to gain employment during this case?
No, ma'am. She just told me about her interviews that she goes on.
Okay. And does she, have you had any conversations with her mother, Miss Herring?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Has Miss Herring indicated to you that she'd be willing to be a placement for the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you looked into doing a home study on Miss Herring?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are we on progress for that?
The background checks, the CPS history and background checks are still pending, or not pending, but waiting for approval from my supervisor. And one of the bigger concerns is Khadijah still lives there. But, well, I understand that she'll move too if it comes down to her being placed or the kids being placed there. But at the moment, it's still pending with my supervisor and director.
Okay. And not to go into any of the things that we discussed in previously, do you think that it would be beneficial to the children for Miss John's parental rights to be terminated?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think it would be in their best interest for them not to have contact with their mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
What's the size of grandmother's home?
Well, the grandmother's home is the 1-bedroom apartment that Khadijah currently lives in.
Okay.
And then there's a great aunt who has I believe it's a 2-bedroom home.
Okay, but different locations, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Ms. Naranjo.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Michelson.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hill.
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Vella.
The home that Miss Johns is living in, her mother's home, other than it being small, is there any safety concerns about her living there?
No.
So is grandmother an appropriate person for Miss Johns to be around?
Yes, ma'am.
Is she an appropriate person potentially for the children to be around?
Yes, ma'am.
The only concern is that, well, one concern is that it's small and there's not enough room
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
children there. Okay. And then the other concern is that Miss Johns isn't showing her ability to kind of stand alone.
Yes, ma'am.
If there are situations where parents live with extended family.
Yes, ma'am.
So that could be a situation that could at some point be considered stable housing.
Are you referring to Khadijah staying with her mother?
Yes.
Okay. If I guess, but I feel Khadijah has stated multiple times that she still wants a place of her own, and I don't think there's enough room for the kids. It is 2 small bedrooms, or one small bedroom and then 1 small living room.
But at this point, we're not at the point of moving any children back with Miss Johns.
No, ma'am.
So it's okay for her to be living with her mom right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Back in, it looks like April, maybe, Miss Johns did give a completely clean hair follicle. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And she's provided a number of clean UAs.
Yes, ma'am. I believe most of her UAs have been clean. It's been the hair follicles that test positive.
And those were not until very, very recently.
Yes, ma'am. Her clean hair follicle was April 15th.
Okay. But the concerning ones were just recently.
Yes, ma'am. The first one was August 7th.
I pass the witness.
Mr. Trout?
Mr. Abbey, speaking of the hair follicles, the clean hair follicle in April is actually mom's only clean one throughout the life of this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that is stemming from about 5 or 6, if I'm not mistaken, hair follicles?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also heard mom state earlier that she doesn't use any drugs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we only have one clean hair follicle and all other hair follicles have drugs in her system, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody have any further questions for Ms.
Just
Johnson?
one quick follow-up.
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Vol.
Ms. Jones, you weren't the caseworker towards the beginning of the case, is that right?
Sorry, is that for me?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ivy, you weren't the caseworker at the beginning of the case, is that correct?
No, ma'am. Christina Hunter was the caseworker at the beginning, I believe, until June when I took over, or July.
Okay. And has Ms. Johns been upfront with you about marijuana use in the past?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I pass witness.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ivy?
Briefly, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
So if the department isn't looking at returning any of the children to Ms. Johns today, what would be the disadvantage to naming Ms. Johns a possessory conservator of the children, since there's not any other permanency goal at this time?
We wouldn't be able to look for other families that would be capable of taking care of the children, such as using the TARE website or other means of adoption.
But at this time, you're looking at placing the children with family, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Well, with those are two options that we have.
Okay, but right now the department doesn't have any other permanency goals for the children.
No.
Okay, so if she were to be given a possessory conservatorship, the department would still be determining where the children live, whether it's with family or with non-family.
Yes, ma'am. But I believe if she was given possessory conservatorship, there would be exposure to substance. Is that correct? If she's around the kids?
Well, she's around the kids now, isn't she?
She sees them she sees them for her visitation.
Okay, and those visits are beneficial to the children.
Yes, ma'am.
And it would be in the children's best interest for the visits to continue.
I believe the best interest is termination.
Would it be in the best interest of the children to continue to have visits with their mother?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you just testified that the children benefit from the visits with their mother. Is that what you just testified to?
Yeah, I believe if it comes down to whether or not we terminate on her, I believe termination is the best option.
Okay, is possessory conservatorship something that could be beneficial if the children are getting visits with their mother?
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'll pass witness.
All right, anybody else have any further questions?
I apologize, Your Honor. I did have some questions I was going to ask.
No apology necessary.
Mr. Ivy, the three children in care, they have an older sister, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And she's here in Amarillo.
Yes, ma'am. She's placed with the great aunt.
Okay. And she's not a party to our case.
No.
Okay. But she joins mom in the visits with the siblings, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is that contact helpful to the children as well?
Yes, ma'am.
I pass witness.
How old is that sibling?
I believe she's 15. I don't know her exact age, but I know she's older than Naraya.
Ms. Johns, you can unmute.
She's 13.
13. All right, thank you. Okay. All right, any other questions for Mr. Ivy?
Not at this time, yeah.
Mr. Ivy, I'm going to ask you a couple things.
Yes, ma'am.
Does St. Francis have any concerns about whether or not this sibling group can be kept together?
Yes, ma'am.
We've got two children that are having some serious problems right now. And would you agree that they are not likely to end up in a legal risk home probably anytime soon?
Yes, ma'am. Is that meaning like a foster home?
Yeah, well, or an adopt, a legal risk, meaning like foster to adopt.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
And we've got one child that we're very close to getting with family, it sounds like. But the aunt isn't a possibility for the other two children
No, ma'am.
in their current situation. Is she a possibility if those behaviors and things vastly improve?
No, ma'am. I believe, according to her, she is older, and so I think she's just not willing to take on two younger children.
Okay. Right. Okay. Anybody have anything further for Mr. Ivy before we
Not this time.
move on? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ivy. All right, Mr. Trout, any additional witnesses?
Your Honor, I'd call Ms. Johns back to the stand, please.
Okay, Ms. Johns, you are still under oath. You'll just unmute.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, you have an older daughter that lives with the great aunt?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you not have custody of her?
Because I have custody of my daughter. I have full custody of my daughter. The only reason why my daughter's over there is because my aunt is helping me get on my feet, and she had both of my daughters at the time to help me.
How long has she lived there?
Probably for a couple years.
Was it before this case started?
Yes.
Okay. Another question, Ms. Johns. There's been a lot of talk today on drug use, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You stated and testified today that you've never have and don't use any other drugs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why is it that you have a conviction for falsifying a drug test from 2 years ago?
Because I was using marijuana, and I didn't know I had to go to see my probation officer, and I didn't want to get in trouble.
Okay. You're aware marijuana is a drug that is not legal in this state?
Yes, and I just like I told everybody else, I smoked marijuana, but that was it.
Okay. But to say you don't use drugs is not correct, because you're admitting to using drugs and you have a conviction for falsifying drug tests, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why should we believe now that you have no idea how meth and cocaine got in your system when you have a conviction for lying about drug tests?
Because I have not smoked marijuana for 2 years now.
Okay.
And I've been clean since then. I have not been around no marijuana use or anything, and I don't know what cocaine feel like, don't know what it look like, or methamphetamines. I don't know nothing about those. I know about marijuana itself.
Okay.
And if I was to go back and do a drug—
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
Okay, I'll sustain.
I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Kincaid.
Thank you, Your Honor. Khadijah, just to clarify, when you say I don't do any drugs, are you meaning the hard drugs as opposed to marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you're aware that marijuana is technically still considered a drug and it is illegal in the state of Texas.
Yes, ma'am.
But in your mind, you're thinking whenever they say drugs, you're thinking of hard drugs. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass witness.
Ms. Naranjo, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Mickelson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Hill?
Questions?
All right, Ms. Ball?
No further questions, Your Honor.
During the pendency of this case, and this is really going to be, I guess, more of a question for Mr. Ivy, but during the pendency of this case, have we had any positive screens for marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
Early on?
There was a positive hair follicle for marijuana in September of 2024 and then in December of 2024.
Okay. So Ms. Johns, how do you explain that if you haven't used marijuana in 2 years?
Because that when I told her when I messed up my ankle, that was the last time I used marijuana, and it was still in my system. And Christina was making me do drug tests to see the levels, see if the levels go low. And that's the only reason why that was in my system still. I have not used since then.
Since when though?
Since when did I miss my ankle? July?
Okay, you can't ask anybody for answers to what I'm asking you. You just tell me what
July,
you know.
No, July. On my daughter's birthday, my daughter's 12th birthday.
2024?
Yes. I'm
well,
counting a whole lot. I'm forgetting that this is 2025. I'm thinking 2023. 2023, yeah. But no, it was just last year in July. My bad.
All right. Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Ms. Johns?
One other question, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, it was just brought up that you did have positive hair follicles for marijuana at the beginning of the case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that also in May of last year, your that same hair follicle had methamphetamines in it too?
Yes, and that was when I was in Houston, and that's when the incident happened in Beaumont. All of that happened in Beaumont, and when I came down here, I was clean when I made it back down here May 8th. When they asked for a drug test, I went and did that drug test, and that was all because of that. But I have just barely came back and started working May 10th at home health care.
I'll pass it, Your Honor.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Ms. Johns?
No further questions.
All right then. Mr. Trout, any other witnesses?
No witnesses at this time, Your Honor.
Does the department rest?
Department rest.
Okay, Ms. Kincaid?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to call Ms. Johns, please.
All right, Ms. Johns, go ahead and unmute. You're still under oath. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Kadisha, you're the mother of the subject of the 3 children, the subject of this suit. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you've heard all the testimony today. Did you hear everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And since the beginning of this case, it began down in Beaumont.
Yes.
And then you moved back to Amarillo.
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you move back to Amarillo?
Because when I went down there, I was trying to get a better life. I was trying to go to school and everything. But I only had like 1 or 2 people down there that I actually knew that was family. And I didn't have like a bigger support system. So I came back to Amarillo because I know my way around and I have a support system down here.
Okay. And at the beginning of this case, you had some mental health issues. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And as part of your service plan, you were sent to TPC to work on your mental health. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you comply with that service?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so do you see a psychiatrist regularly? Or a doctor?
Yes.
Okay. And they give you prescription medication. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you take that medication as prescribed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you given a copy of your prescriptions to the department?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you take, and I know that we've gone over this, but do you take any other over-the-counter or otherwise medications?
No, just like pain medications over the counter, like a cough medicine or stuff like that. But other than that, I take my prescriptions that I'm prescribed.
Okay. So if you're taking over-the-counter medications, what types of over-the-counter medications are you taking?
I'm taking like pain medications like ibuprofen, Advil, Tylenol, stuff like that. Vicks to help with my breathing. Robitussin, NyQuil, like stuff like that to help with colds. Just mainly pain and cold medications, decongestants.
Okay. And so far as your prescription medications, what is your understanding about how your prescriptions could affect your drug screens?
Because when he told me I had a high level of methamphetamines, I've been only taking my medication. So, and it started when I started taking, I got a different dosage, a higher dosage in July. So that's the only other option because I don't be
honest, speculation.
Sustained.
I'm just going to ask, what is your understanding about whether your medications can affect your drug screens? Do you have any understanding about that?
Yes.
Okay. What is your understanding?
That basically, like, I can test positive for something with my medications.
Okay. Now, did you ever get a note from your doctor about that?
My doctor is not a in-person doctor. My doctor is online. I go to TPC, they put me in a room and she shows up on a computer screen.
Okay. And so from there, I guess you just go fill your prescriptions?
She sends them, she has the nurse send them to United on the Amarillo Boulevard, East Amarillo Boulevard.
Okay. Now, regarding, I think that we've covered that you've completed all the services that the department asked you to do other than regular employment and housing. Is that what you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so when it comes to housing, let's talk about the attempts that you've made to secure housing. What are the types of things that you've done to attempt to secure housing?
I done got on HUD. I tried to go to a city HUD that I used to be on, try to figure out stuff with them. They telling me I have to pay them $700, which I did. I didn't went to low income apartments. I didn't called Face City Mission, Martha's Home, like all of these type of shelters and house places, and they all filled up, and you have to be on the waiting list. So I tried everything. I even went to the workforce and tried to get help from them.
Okay. And then whenever it comes to, which we've covered this already, and I'm sorry, but whenever it comes to employment, you've submitted applications to various places.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're hoping to get employment and you're making attempts to get employment. Is that fair to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we're going to talk a little bit about visitation with the kids, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's certain things that we're not necessarily going to get into. And if we get into them, I think the judge is probably going to, or maybe the ad litem is going to stop us, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You have visitation with all three of your kids.
Yes.
And how does your visitation work? It's 2 hours every week.
Yes. And Naraya comes in person. Christopher and Zion comes on Zoom.
Okay. And you said also your older daughter is in those visits as well.
Yes, she comes. Yes.
Okay. And do you enjoy your visits with your kids?
Yes, I do a lot.
And what types of things do you guys do or discuss during your visits?
I bring them food, so I feed them and everything. I ask them how their day is, how is school. Me and Naraya, sometimes Christopher don't last until like 7:15 because he wants to be in person. But when I do talk to him, I'll be like, "Oh, well, what are you doing?" He'll show me his toys that he have. And I'll be like, "Oh, how was school? Are you tired?" He'll tell me he's tired. And then when he gets off, I say, "I love you and I will talk to you next week." So he gets off and it's just Naraya and Zion and my oldest daughter. So I sit there and let my oldest daughter and Naraya interact with each other, and I sit there and I talk to Zion. And Zion, I tell her how beautiful she is and how's her day and if she's been having accidents and what is she doing to prevent them, just little stuff, trying to get background on her and see how her day was going and how was school and what she ate for lunch and dinner and for breakfast. She'll tell me, and then she'll show me the stuffies that I had gave her when she was here. And then I tell her I like her hair and stuff.
Okay, so you feel like those interactions are positive?
Yes, very positive.
Do you think they're beneficial for the children?
Yes.
Do you think the kids enjoy that time with you?
Yes, a lot.
Okay. If the kids were potentially placed closer, do you think the kids would benefit from in-person visits with you, so long as, the department was okay with that?
Yes.
And do you think they would benefit from in-person interactions with each other?
Yes.
You've heard that there is a home study pending on your aunt. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that it would be best for Naraya to be placed with your aunt?
Yes, because my oldest daughter's there and they've been together. They've been in the same house together with that same aunt.
So she's been placed with your aunt before, or she's lived with your aunt before.
Yes.
So that would be a good spot for her.
Yes.
Okay. And so far as the two younger ones, your mom, you currently live with your mom, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've lived with your mom in the past as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have the two younger children lived with your mom in the past?
Yes, ma'am.
How often or for how long have they lived with your mom, would you guess?
Basically, since when I first had Zion, we stayed with my mom. And then when Christopher was like 1 or 2, we stayed with my mom.
Okay, so they've had lots of past contact with your mom.
Yes.
And do you think that she would be a safe person for them to be placed with?
Of course. She's had them before by herself also.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
I have had a CPS case in the past where I had to go to stay at the downtown women's center. And because I felt like it was too small, her apartment was too small, the caseworker sent both of my kids over there to stay with her, and I told them that they could stay over there with her. That's why I go stay at the downtown women's center to get help.
Okay, so the children she's been an approved placement for CPS in the past?
Yes.
Okay.
And each place was a 1-bedroom.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask, is what size of apartment was it?
It was how our apartment is now. It wasn't that big. It was big living room, 1-bedroom, bathroom, everything it was just the same size as where we live in now.
Okay. Stepping back a little bit, do you feel like since the beginning of this case, you've learned anything from the services you've worked?
Yes, I learned a lot. I really have.
Do you feel like what types of things have you learned from like the parenting classes?
Parenting classes, I didn't learn about the way I treat my kids, make sure my kids are safe, protected, loved.
And you got some mental health services through the department. Do you feel like those have helped you?
Yes, my medication helps me a lot too. So.
Okay. Do you feel like the other classes that you completed have helped you, improve and become a better parent?
Yes. Especially the one that I had to take. It was an all-day class, for my intrusive thoughts, basically saying something and saying I'm not going to do it. That helped me a lot. Like, I don't do that no more.
The rational behavior training class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you think if, say, the department was named permanent managing conservator and you were named possessory conservator, you would be willing to continue to do whatever the department asked you to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be cooperative with them and comply with any classes or any therapy or anything that they asked of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be willing to go drug screen for them regularly?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you provide them a regular copy of your prescriptions?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you continue to seek employment, and once you get employment, send them over proof of your pay stubs?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you continue to seek housing, and then once you get housing, you would allow them into your home to observe it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that it's in the best interest of your children for you to be named a possessory conservator while the department works on placing your kids with your family?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you think that it would actually be against their best interest for them to not be able to visit with you anymore?
No, I think, yeah, no.
Let me withdraw the question. That was a terribly worded question.
All right, we'll let you withdraw it and start over.
Let me put a few more double negatives in it. Do you think it's in the best interest of your children for you to be able to continue to see them?
Yes.
Do you think that it would actually be contrary to their welfare for your rights to be terminated and you no longer be able to visit with them?
No.
It would be contrary to their welfare if they could no longer see you. Do you agree with that?
What is that? Can you explain?
It would actually be bad for them if they could not see you anymore.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Trout, any questions?
Just a few, Your Honor. Ms. Johns, you'd mentioned that you had a prior CPS case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You've actually had quite a few investigations over the years with CPS, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Dating all the way back to about 2016?
Yes, but in 2000.
So back to 2016, you've had many run-ins with CPS over the years?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think it's in your children's best interest for CPS to keep having to be involved with you and your children?
No.
Do you think it's in your children's best interest to constantly be moving from your mother to great aunt to you, back to your mother, around to all family members?
Yes, they've been with these same family members. So yes, I think that's okay.
You think it's in their best interest to keep moving homes and not have a stable home to live in?
No.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Hang on, getting an alarm. Are y'all getting this?
Attention, please.
Just a minute. Okay.
Use the elevator.
We have to evacuate the building. I'm just gonna leave y'all right here and we'll go see what it's all about. My apologies. Okay, I could not hear because we had an alarm going off, so I couldn't hear the last things that were asked or said. My apologies.
Do you want me to read it for you?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Judy, I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's He was asking about run-ins with CPS over the years from 2016. So question, do you think it's in your children's best interest for CPS to keep having to be involved with you and your children? Answer no. Question, do you think it's in your children's best interest to constantly be moving from your mother to great aunt to you, back to your mother, around to all family members? Answer yes, they've been with the same family members, so yes, I think that's okay. Question, so you think it's in their best interest to keep moving homes and not have a stable home to live in? Answer no. And then he passed the witness.
Okay. All right, then, I think where we are. Okay, anybody else have any further questions?
Just a quick clarification.
Okay, go right ahead.
Ms. Johns, do you consider your aunt and your mother to be stable housing for the children?
Yes, ma'am.
So if the children were placed with your family, they'd also be placed together. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that it's in their best interest for the children to be placed away from each other? Separately,
No.
like in the three different?
No.
Do you think it would be better if they were placed together near each other so they could see each other face to face?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
All right, anybody else have any further questions for Ms. Johns?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Ms. Kincaid, any further witnesses today?
You're muted, Savannah.
I'm sorry, I was clicking back and forth. May I briefly recall Mr. Ivy?
You certainly may. Mr. Ivy, you're still under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may go right ahead.
Mr. Ivy, does the department or St. Francis have an expert that they consult with on drug screens when they have a question about that?
Not that I'm aware of, ma'am. Since I've worked here since January, and I don't believe we have an expert that works for us.
Is there an expert that you consult with whenever it comes to questions of drug screens and what can potentially create a false positive?
We can call the testing facility.
Okay.
And
There's no one with St. Francis or the department or anyone that's contracted that you can consult with to discuss whether prescription medications can create a false positive.
No, ma'am, I don't believe so.
Okay, I'll pass witness.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Mr. Ivy?
I'll just clarify on that, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Ivy, if there is somebody at the Department of St. Francis, you're not aware of it.
Yes.
You've never had to deal with anybody or call anybody in regards to that.
No, sir.
Okay. If I know we've talked a lot about placement of the children and permanency of the children. If parents' rights are terminated, it opens up other ways to find permanent placement for the children. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And those are, you mentioned them earlier, I believe, tiers and some other situations where there would be possibly other places maybe that all children could go to.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But we can't explore those at this point right now. Is that what you're saying?
No, sir. The only options we can explore is family.
Okay. All right. I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anybody else have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kincaid, any other witnesses?
Yes, I'd like to call Ms. John's mother, Letitia Herring.
All right. Ms. Kincaid, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your name for the record?
Letitia R. Henry.
Okay, and can you spell your first name?
Latisha.
And spell your last name?
Henry.
Thank you. And you're the maternal grandmother to the 3 kids, the subject of this suit. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you've known these kiddos their whole lives. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in the past, have the children lived with you?
Yes, twice.
Okay. And for how long did the kids live with you?
All for probably about 6, 7, 8 months.
Okay. And were you comfortable being a placement for them?
Yes, always.
Okay. And just to clarify, which kiddos lived with you?
Christopher and Zion.
Okay. And would you be comfortable if the children were placed with you again?
Yes, I would. I would take all of them.
Okay. In the past, were the children placed with you in an apartment that was a 1-bedroom apartment?
Yes.
And was that approved by CPS?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Now, if say the department this time says, no, we need a bigger place after all the background checks and everything, would you be willing to move to a bigger place?
Yes, I would.
Okay. And so far as Khadijah, has she been living with you since this case has started?
On and off, yes.
Okay. How long has she lived with you during this instance?
Almost about 4 months.
Okay. And do you have the opportunity to observe Khadijah day to day?
Yes.
Okay. And have you observed any instances where you feel like she is intoxicated or high on anything?
No, because I'm not allowing it.
Okay. But have you ever come home and thought that maybe she was using any kind of substance?
No.
Okay. Do you know if she is trying to get employment?
Yes.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because I push her towards it too, because she also she can't stay with me and not have employment.
Okay. And what types of things make you think that she's looking for employment?
Well, she leaves, she calls around. I see her sit here and she calls, Indeed, put in applications because I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions.
Okay. Have you seen any of the applications?
No, but I have known for her to go to the jobs because a lot of the jobs is a person I know or she knows or a family member.
Okay. Whenever it comes to you, you have would you say that you have a good relationship with the kiddos?
Yes. I'm the authority person in the whole family.
Okay. And do you think the kids would benefit from contact with you?
Yes.
Okay. And do you feel like the kids benefit from contact with their mom?
Yes.
Do you feel like they benefit from contact with each other?
Yes.
Now, they're currently placed in 3 separate places. Do you think it would be better if they could actually have face-to-face contact with each other?
Yeah. Face-to-face. Go ahead, my bad.
I'm sorry. And do you think it would be better for the kids if they could actually have face-to-face contact with their mom, as long as she's clean and sober?
Yes.
Okay. Are you willing to do a home study and cooperate with any requirements or requests the department has for you?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever been under the impression that there was going to be a home study done on you in the past?
Twice, yes.
Okay. Tell me about the first time. Who was that?
She was still in Beaumont. I think it was Courtney.
Yes.
But it never did happen. I even spoke to her on the phone. But it never happened. And then with Christina, it never happened. And I was sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting.
Okay. And one of the reasons that's an issue is that if you want to change your HUD housing, you have to notify them that you need a bigger place. Is that right?
Yes. And the kids will have to be with me.
Okay.
So as far as HUD, but they have been on my HUD list before.
Okay. And have you ever asked Mr. Ivy about a home study?
Yes, I have.
Okay. How did that go?
He said he's gonna send they're supposed to come out here and do a home study. I don't know when. It hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
And he said something about my background.
Okay. But you're willing to be placement for 2 of the kids or all 3 of the kids?
I would take all 3 of them.
Okay. But if you were placement for the younger 2, would you be willing to make sure that they get to see their older siblings?
Oh yeah. Because my oldest, Creelan, she comes to see me every week. She even spends the weekends with me.
Okay. So they would get to see each other really regularly if they were with you?
Yes.
Okay. And if they ultimately, do you think, based on having the relationship you have with the kids and observing the way that they interact with their mom, do you think that it would be bad for the children for them to not be able to have visits with their mom?
Yes, it would be. That's why they're asking out now.
Okay. And if you were to be placement for the children, if you ever felt like Khadijah had run into an issue with mental health or potentially drug use, would you protect the children from her?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Trout, you have any questions?
Just a couple, Your Honor. Ms. Henry, you stated that the children have lived with you a few times.
Yes.
Why were they living with you during those times?
First time my daughter had got into whatever it was, and she was living with one of her old friends. They all got put out, so she needed somewhere to stay. And I was like, the kids could stay with me, but she would have to go to a shelter to better herself. And I took the kids, CPS brought them. They came and did a home, and they left them with me the second time. Is with the same friend, and she had to go to jail, and they brought them to my house when I stayed on Nelson, and that was the last time. And that's when I had put her and her kids on my hood. The CPS was going to help me get to a bigger place as far as paying the deposit, but it never fell through. Her caseworker just wasn't doing her job, and she quit.
Objection on that last statement, Your Honor. That's speculation.
Sustained.
Ms. Henry, I noticed each time you mentioned that you said Khadijah was with one of her friends. Are you blaming her friends or do you blame Khadijah?
Khadijah is responsible for her own responsibilities.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
You understand a home study, one of the reasons a home study right now can't be done is because Khadijah lives with you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the concerns in this case are not from anything you did or the children did, it's from Khadijah's actions.
Yes.
Okay. And you understand the department at this time is asking for termination due to we have not seen any changes in her behaviors. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Naranjo, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Michelson,
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Hill.
No, ma'am.
All right, and Ms. Zavala.
I have no questions at this time.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kincaid, anything further?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
All right, Ms. Naranjo.
I have no witnesses, Your Honor. I'll rest.
Hey, Mr. Michelson
No witnesses. I rest, Your Honor.
and Mr. Hill.
Rest, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Zavala.
No witnesses, I rest.
Okay, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation to make?
I do, Your Honor. I understand the concerns that St. Francis has in terms of the drug screens. I am concerned about those recent ones myself. I've worked with these children for a long time, and have gotten to meet with them in person when I'm able to, have been able to Zoom with them regularly. I do feel that there has been some progress made in this case. Do I think that it is safe to return these kids to mom right now? No, I don't. The kids themselves have some issues that they need to work through. I know that we are all under an obligation to try to reach permanency for the children as quickly as we can, and have that be a healthy situation for the kids. Unfortunately, I think this is a case that doesn't quite fit into our normal timeline. I do think it will take longer. for the kids to be okay, and there's still more that mom needs to do. However, I do think that the fastest way to permanency for these kids is to continue working with this family to come up with some sort of family placement, and to continue to work with mom. I hope that we are able to do that. I believe that it would be pretty devastating to all three of the kids at this point, to have mom's rights terminated. All of them have expressed to me that contact with mom is very helpful. They are definitely bonded with her. I do think we need to have some long meetings about how we can look at families and work together to find some placements. But the kids are, several of them are not ready yet for a change in placement, but hopefully soon. So it's my recommendation that we look at PMC to St. Francis and continue working with mom with a structured family plan. And I do believe that's in the best interest of the kids.
All right, thank you. Any recommendation about the fathers, Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, if the court is inclined to terminate on mom, then it absolutely would be in the best interest to also terminate on the fathers. However, if Your Honor is not inclined to terminate on mom, then I don't think it's in the best interest at this point to terminate on the fathers, as we continue working with the family.
Your Honor, if I may.
Certainly.
The department understands where Ms. Zavala is coming from and where the attorneys are coming from on this case. Through the testimony today, I think the court has seen we're dealing with a situation, even by mom's testimony. CPS has been involved in their life for almost 10 years now, at least from the report I'm seeing, for 10 years. People have tried working with mom. We keep ending up back here. We have been working with mom for 1.5 years now, and we're still at the same spot that we started with at the beginning, with unknown drugs that mom states she doesn't know how it got in her system, even though there are multiple drug screens throughout the life of this case. Termination at this time does not prevent still looking at family members. I think we're still under a duty to do that if we have family members that will be willing and cooperate to try to keep the children together, if that is possible. The fathers in this case they all know about the case. None of them have done anything. They have done everything to avoid being involved in this case. So I do think it's in the children's best interest to terminate the fathers. As to mom, I also believe it's in the best interest to terminate, based upon the fact that mom has not made any changes. She has stability in and out of mom's house multiple times in this case, during this case alone. We're still having positive drug screens that every time one comes up, a new drug is on it. Mom is stating she doesn't know where those come from because she doesn't use them, yet she's got convictions for falsifying drug tests. I don't know that we have made any headway with mom and the changes that need to be made in order to keep these children safe and to give them a stable living environment. And I don't know if you give us 4 years on this case that we're going to get there with her, as we've had 9 years worth of CPS involvement and no changes, it appears. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
If I may,
Your argument?
If I may.
Sure.
Your Honor, Miss Johnson, I think she's completed all of the services that have been asked of her so far as therapeutic recommendations, mental health recommendations. She's been cooperative with the department. As we are probably all aware, addiction is a difficult thing. She still maintains that, the recent issues are a result of a prescription medication, it's something that could be looked into further to determine whether there's accuracy in that or not. But regardless of, some of the issues that she continues to have, the children benefit from being able to have contact with her. And if the department is named permanent managing conservator, they can regulate that. If they feel like there's an unsafe situation, they can always put her on Zoom with all 3 of the children. And if she makes progress and they're happy with how she's doing, then, if the kids are moved to Amarillo, they can all have in person together. There are a lot of avenues to, support the kids and their best interests. And the department would obviously be able to restrict or expand her visitation or even placement in the future if needed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Kincaid. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I've got lots and lots of people waiting out there for another hearing, I will let everybody know my ruling. I want to take some time to think about all this, look back through my notes. So I'm not ready to render at this moment, and I will communicate my ruling to all the attorneys via email, and we'll try very hard to have that done, no later than sometime tomorrow. Could even be later this afternoon, but we'll see how long our next case goes. All right, I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Honor.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. I, do you have video?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Mr. I, while I'm waiting to see if they show up in the waiting room, have you done much court interpretation?
This is going to be my first time.
Okay, so let me kind of go through how this works with you.
Okay.
You will need to interpret what everybody says.
Yes.
So if the parents were in right now, I'd be hesitating between my sentences so that you could, interpret for them.
Okay.
I'm going to ask all the attorneys to slow their pace down and try to speak in shorter sentences, or divide things up to make this easier for you.
Okay.
The process is question and answer.
Yes.
And question and answer. So when they ask their question, then everybody will stop and allow you to interpret the question. When the parent responds, gives the answer, then you'll, interpret that for us, and then it'll be another question.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So if at any time everybody sees me throw my hands up and, I just want everybody to stop because we're either people are talking over each other or we're just going too fast, or whatever the problem may be. So, we'll see if we get them logged in.
And Judge, I don't see Mr. Barfield either.
I don't either. Mr. Graff, have you had any communication with him?
I have not, and I'm wondering if the message got communicated to him that we were back to doing this hearing via Zoom. I assume it did, but I know sometimes when we're in a rush, we don't read our emails carefully.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Ms. Katie and I both sent him a message. Mine shows his notifications are silenced right now. Oh, no. Rachel, can you just call his office?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, thanks. And then I don't know if y'all want to reach out, if somebody wants to try to reach out to mom and dad and see if.
We're trying now, Judge.
Okay, let's make sure they got the right link and all that. Okay, he said he's at the courthouse and under the impression it was in person. and the clients are there. All right, y'all give me just a minute. Let me try to get him on the phone. Parents, they're in a conference room. We've got them in a conference room and they're gonna, I had to give him the meeting ID, but I've given that to him and he's gonna try to get just with them there with him.
Okay.
Okay, we're all three here,
Okay.
and so I can see everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, very good. Okay, Mr. Rye, are you ready?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, I'll call cause number 10, the Department of Family and Protective Services. We're here for a court ordered services request. All right, we'll take announcements.
الان حرف میزنیم با هم دیگه.
Good afternoon, Your Honor, Counsel Eugene Graff and Alexis Valenzuela.
Judge Stacy Grant on behalf of the.
Oh, hang on. She hadn't interpreted.
Oh,
All right. Mr. Rye, you need to, let me do this. Let me make announcements. So, all right. Mr. Groff is present for the department with Alexis Valenzuela. Stacy
Okay,
Grant is present for the mother, Fatima Yekta.
Stacy Grant رئیس فاطمه است.
Brooks Barfield is present for the father, Barden Shakri.
Brooks Faldit is رئیس پدره.
Stacy Zavala is present on behalf of the children. All right. Do we have any announcements to make?
Not that I'm aware of, but there is a request to go off of YouTube.
No objection.
All right. Does anybody have any objection to Ms. Zavala's motion?
No.
برای موشن ونزوئلا نه ندارم. خانم گرانت تظاهری چیزی داری؟ نه ندارم.
All right, I'll grant the motion and we will stop the live stream. The court's aware of some of the likely testimony.